What's going on, new kid? It is your boy Bearfist, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the balance changes that were implemented into the South Park Phone Destroyer universe. How did Redlynx do? Stay tuned and watch this video. We're going to go ahead and place them into tiers and kind of grade them and see how impactful these changes are into our meta. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as I do post new South Park Phone Destroyer content on a weekly basis. And also, I stream on Twitch. You can find the link in the description down below. Come by, say hi, hang out with the beautiful people that hang out in the stream, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. With that being said, let's get into it. Prior to the recent balance changes that were implemented, I have created a tier list based on where that particular card that was going to receive a balance change was, in my opinion, prior to their recent nerfs and or buffs. So this was before October. I guess it's the first Tuesday where they implement these balance changes. And now we're going to do this live on Twitch, and I'm going to share my thoughts and gather the feedback from the opinions of the people watching to see if they agree, disagree. So we're going to go ahead and start with Dark Angel Red. So Dark Angel Red is an OP card, a 3-cost epic range that can essentially have Pope's ability, which revive your character. So what made her even more powerful was, prior to this balance change, she could you can mind control your opponent's unit and then be able to steal their unit. So what Redlynx did was took away that ability in this recent patch, which is what the community cried for. I think there's still work that needs to be done. So if I had to give Redlynx a grade on Dark Angel Red, I give it a D, because I feel like there's still work that needs to be done. I think she needs to be at least a 5-cost. If Pope, who is a 6-cost, is a great ranged unit and has that same ability that Dark Angel Red, then why is she still a 3-cost, right? I think she's too overpowered at 3. So I'm going to keep her in the overpowered bucket, but at least they were able to take away that mind control ability, which was what the community wanted. So next up, we're going to discuss Space Warrior Token, and he was a 2-cost sci-fi fighter that had this amazing ability that once his ability charged, he has the potential to dash forward and hit the next unit closest to him. And if there wasn't any unit closest to him, it would be your new kid that he would aim for. He had amazing stats at 2. He was originally a 3-cost a long time ago, but Redlynx decided to bring him from 3 to 2, which caused him to be overpowered. But I agree with the nerf. I think it was just the right amount. So I'm going to give Redlynx an A in this case. And I'm actually going to move him from overpowered to perfect. I think he is right where he needs to be. He has the perfect stats for a 2-cost. It doesn't destroy the sci-fi theme, which, they already have great fighters in Sizzler and Sixth Element and Enforcer. So I think that was the right move. So I'm going to give him a perfect. And move on to Gunslinger Kyle. And what Gunslinger Kyle does is that he has a charge ability that gives all allies an attack boost. Now, what they've done to him recently is they increased his ability from 3 seconds to 4.5 seconds and gave him a health buff. But listening to the opinions on my stream and thinking about it as a whole, from challenge to wood to silver to legendary, I think it's not enough to move him from his current tier. So I would still have to consider him trash, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Some opinions that I do see right now that could make him better. For instance, from Jam and T, if GSK walks slower, that would be a nice addition. As far as a grade from Redlynx, I'm probably going to give him a C on this one. Those two were needed, but there's still work that needs to be done. But at least it's a better place than where he was originally. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and move on to Outlaw Tweak. And what Redlynx did for his recent buff is that they increased his attack and his damage ability to give him a slight buff. I don't think it's enough. He was trash prior to the balance changes, and I don't think it's still enough in order to make him viable in the legendary scene. Could you use him in Wood League? Is he a viable option there? Yeah, possibly. But as you progress through your South Park Folder Destroyer journey, it's not a card I would recommend upgrading, because one, in Team Wars, you're going to get him at least a level 4 if your team selects him. And I think that is the same in Chaos mode. So with that being said, he is still trash even with the buffs that he currently receives. Now, some ideas that could potentially make him better is his damage towards the new kid needs to be increased. And I also think that he should be at least a 3 cost, right? And be similar to a Warboy Tweak if they're going to keep his stats the same. So those would be some of the recommendations that I feel we should do. But he is still trash in my opinion. So if I were to give Redlynx a grade for Outlaw Tweak, I'd give him an F. I think it was just not enough in order to make that card viable. It's almost like there was no action taken in place for Outlaw Tweak. So it's something that they can rework and possibly look back again. When originally Warboy Tweak was a 4 cost card, he was trash, right? Then they made him a 3 cost card with a buff and attack, and now he is often seen everywhere. And that's the type of balance change that Redlynx should often strive for. Is let's look at our past generation cards and compare them against our new generation, right? And see how we can scale up those old generation cards so we can at least get some variety in the meta, especially in the legendary arena. I think with Gizmo Ike, I feel okay is the right spot for him. I love his attack speed. He's definitely one of the units that get a first hit. I like the change that they did, where giving the clones the same attack speed as the original. And I think it was the right move that the health decreases as the clones increase. So I think those were all actually solid, but you can't use him. You could, but his strength is displayed in a Space Pilot Bradley deck. I mean, you could place him with Chicken Coop, sort of like a zoo deck. You could place him there too, but that just tells me that he's okay, right? And he's very situational, so I'm gonna go ahead and place him in the okay pile. I think that's like the perfect spot for him. And if I were to give Redlynx a grade for him, I actually would give him a B. I think this was like the perfect spot for Gizmo Ike to be in. He is a great assassin. um, you know, who has some weaknesses, which is what a balanced card should be. So if you were to tell me, Mike, I could possibly put him in the perfect pile, I wouldn't disagree, but I feel like he's okay. Like, he's not game changing. He's not going to be a must have in this deck. But in the right deck, right play, right spacing, he is definitely viable. So, and that's Gizmo Ike right there. Guys, now we're going to go ahead and move on to Wonder Tweak. And Wonder Tweak received a attack buff and his radius increased. Now, Wonder Tweak was super strong in team versus team and in chaos mode, but you don't see him out in PvP often. So that's why initially, prior to the balance changes, you could consider him trash. But I think with these recent buffs that were implemented, I'm actually going to go ahead and move Wonder Tweak from trash to okay, because I think having the radius even bigger is going to make him a stronger candidate to be picked in Team Wars. And I potentially could see him being used more in Silver, but I don't think he's game changing in Legendary. I think there are better options for range units. Mintberry Crunch, Dr. Timothy are just to name a few. So I think Redlynx did a pretty good job, and I'll give him a B on this one as well. I don't think there is much more that you can make him oppressive with. Maybe if you made him a 3 cost, but that's probably we'll probably bring him to that next tier. But I think he's in a perfect spot, and we'll just go ahead and leave him there. And next, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Frontier Bradley, and they made a small detail on this one. They basically said that you're no longer allowed to purify the new kit, the attack boost, similar to what you can do with Ninja's buff is that you can purify them. I'm gonna go ahead and give Redlynx an F on this one. I think that particular change was not enough on this one. I think some recommendations that I see, and I probably would agree with, and are, take away the AoE damage from the new kid, or potentially make him a 4 cost ranged, or potentially giving him an aura ability. But there's something that needs to be done. I feel like he is still overpowered. And at 3 cost, I mean, that's great energy efficiency. So there's still work that needs to be done for Frontier Bradley. He's just meta changing like Dark Angel Red. And so there's still some work to be done. All right, last but not least, we're going to go ahead and review Sizzler Stewart. Now, what changes Redlynx did for Sizzler Stewart is a couple, right? So they increased his health by 5%. But more importantly, now it only takes him 7 hits versus the 10 prior to the balance changes to get to maximum speed. Now, Sizzler Stewart was great already to begin with, but now he is insane, right? You get him at full potential or full speed, max speed, you have to take him out if you're facing him. And he has the ability to take all 3 bars in if he locks onto your new kid at full health. That's how insanely OP Sizzler Stewart is. Now, as far as a grade, I'll give him a C for this one, right? Because he didn't really need it, to be honest. I mean, some of the opinion from the community here is, they could have increased his health even more. But to have a fighter version of Robo Bebe without kills, mind you, right? And for him to be at maximum speed, he is just overpowered. You cannot let him lock onto your new kid. And he has a stun ability as he enters the field. He is oppressive. Now, this is my opinion only. But I feel like he is the best legendary in sci-fi. He is something you have to reckon with. And unless you have Inuit, you're going to take an energy disadvantage in order to take him out. And if you pair him with Frontier Bradley, it's GG. Anyway, that is the balance changes review for South Park Phone Destroyer for the month of October. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. And also remember, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as I do post content for South Park Phone Destroyer. But other than that, I'll see you out in the streets, new kid. Bare fist out.